I'm Lisa Freeman.
And I'm Stefan Campbell.
Woohoo!
Lisa is author, actor, activist, knowledge seeker.
That's a really, gosh, wisdom keeper. Ooh. Uh, and Stefan is a fashionista.
Oh
And we
my
have
God.
tonight,
Drum roll, please.
take it away.
Hi, I'm Phranc with a PH and a hard C, your basic Jewish lesbian folk singer, cardboard cobbler.
Basic.
Welcome to
anything
Chip.
but, anything but. I would say pioneer. Pioneer.
Well, only because there were pioneers before me.
That is it. Well, first of all, that leads me right into my first question. But before that, Lisa, I think that you should do the honors in introducing Phranc properly.
This is Phranc. Phranc.
That's a proper introduction. But yeah,
I think I want to save. I don't want to do a spoiler alert till the end of this.
Oh, I didn't send my bio. Did you want to read that?
Oh, I know your bio.
Give it to us. Give it to us, sweetheart. Give it to us.
Oh, okay. This is what I.
Go ahead, Stefan.
You can, and then all right. Let's start with Phranc. In the 70s, everybody was able to was a part of a movement, which was the punk movement. But I'm not going to go and talk about the punk movement. I'm going Phranc to talk about the punk movement and what that meant to Phranc.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, first, we have to go back a little bit before punk.
Yes.
Because we have to start, when I grew up in LA and I came out as a lesbian when I was around 16. Wow. And I could not be who I was in my parents' home. And so I left. But before that, I did a little reconnaissance, which is very important to find your people, especially when you feel alone and there's nobody like you. So I found out that there was this women's drop-in rap group. And I told my mom I was going to the library, and I rode my bike to this women's center. And there were these women sitting in a circle all talking, and they welcomed me. They were all, I was 17, 16, 17. They were like in their 20s, so really old. And they welcomed me, and they asked me why I was there. And I said, because I liked chicks. And they all went, peep, 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 peep. And I was like, what? And they asked me, I said, I like chicks. That's why I'm here, because I was gay. And they said, women are not chicks. Chicks go peep, 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 peep. And so that was my first consciousness raising thing. But, I made some friends, people welcomed me, and I left my parents' house. I moved out when I was in high school, and I became part of this very active lesbian feminist community on the west side of Los Angeles. I worked on the Lesbian Tide, which was, and I was just this junior dyke. And I had people, I had women especially that supported me. And I was looking over some of your questions, and, I think it's so important to have, especially when you're really young, to have older people that champion you and tell you that you're good, you're okay, you're important, what you're doing is great, and they're there for you. And this is the reason why I'm here today, because when you feel so alone and you go searching for a community and you find community, and the community is the through line for my entire story. I was fortunate enough to have this community. Then I found the feminist art community from there. So then I was supported in that world. And that's how, when I left there, I went up to San Francisco to find more lesbians, and I found punk rock.
Wow. Can I ask you, I know my first question was about punk and you took us right there perfectly, but I want to go back to when you were 16. What motivated you at that time? Were you did you just feel like you had to, or did your parents find out something? Were you
Oh, I came out to my parents and they were not happy.
And did you just feel compelled to come out to them,
They told
or
me I couldn't, they didn't throw me out of the house, but they told me I couldn't be who I was in their home
right?
at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
So I left, and so many young queers deal with, the lack of acceptance at home. And
yeah, right.
and the reason that I'm out in everything that I do and that I say I'm a lesbian on stage and I come out as a queer is because I feel like I survived coming out. Coming out saved my life,
Yeah,
and so it's my job, I think, to be out in everything I do so people can see you can come out and have a great life, and there's so many more examples now. But I tell you, I think the feelings from talking to young queers are the same. The
right.
same feelings of feeling alone and trying to figure out where we fit and where our people are.
Well,
So
the community. So to your point, and Lisa, I think hopefully maybe you would agree, this idea to have a strong community, because for you to dive into your being an artist, you would have to have a strong foundation somewhere that was almost like somewhere a safe place to know that you can go down that road. And it seems like that community was it.
Well,
yeah,
Phranc had, I think you had the punk community, you had your San Francisco days, and then you had the women's building, or was it vice versa?
I had the women's building first, and because I had that foundation and that my identity was so strong, I'd already changed my name when I was like 17. I came out as Phranc, and I changed my spelling, I cut my hair, I went through all the transitions of becoming who I was, claiming my identity. And so by the time I got to punk rock, I was good to go. And what
Right.
was exciting about that was everybody was my age, because everybody had been so much older. And all of a sudden I was with people that were my age. They were angry, they were creative, and I felt like I really fit in for the first time. And so punk rock was like magic for me.
Yeah.
Right. And who was Phranc? Who was Phranc before Phranc became Phranc? Like what was, you said that you cut your hair, you changed your name. What was
You got to tell the whole story, Phranc, going from how Phranc got named.
I went, when I was 17 in 1975, I went to the Lesbian History Exploration, which was a weekend retreat of lesbian artists, musicians, poets, writers, performers, and I got quite an education. I heard Alex Dobkin, who was a lesbian folk singer, sing for the first time. I saw a slideshow with the well-dressed dyke will wear. I saw somebody getting their head shaved. I learned a lot. And I came home from there and I went right to the barbershop and cut my hair off, and I changed my name up there and I wrote it on the little Dixie cup because you had one cup for the whole time, and I changed it to Phranc with a Phranc, and I came home, cut my hair, and went to my friend's house, and I told her that I changed my name, and she said, "You're Phranc," and she said, "Stay there," and she came back with a blue baseball hat with a P on it, and that she PH, and that's how I got my PH. So
nice.
now you know the story. So
what do you do, Phranc, when people misgender you? What do you do?
I usually correct them, and I'm usually very friendly about it. Like a waiter did it twice the other night when I was out to dinner with my mom, and I said, "That's the second time." I said, "I'm going to forgive you this time." I said, "But please, you just don't call me a lady. Ladies, can I help you, ladies?"
No.
It bothers me, but I mean, I've really kind of given up being angry about it, but I am vocal about it.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
I'm usually pretty friendly about it, but you know, I do bring it to their attention.
I've never seen anybody more cordial in a bathroom than you, dealing with people's limited consciousness.
Anyway, I don't know. We're like, you know, we're 16, so let's zip ahead. Let's, you know, zip,
Yeah,
zip, zip, you know.
and it seems like you have a relationship with your parent, your mother. You said you were out with.
I did heal my relationship with my parents. You know, I kept doing what I was doing, and I was true to myself. And you know, when other people started to acknowledge me, it was hard for them not to.
Sure, sure, right. You
That
are not
helps.
invisible.
That
This
helps a little bit.
was it, when did that start, during like Catholic discipline or castration squad?
No, they were not big fans when I was at the Women's Building, and not when I was in Nervous Gender, which was the first punk band I was in.
Mhm.
And
Yes, right.
and then I was in Catholic Discipline, and I was in Castration Squad. And then I wrote the song Take Off Your Swastika because of the fashion of the time. And being Jewish, I wrote this song, and I played it on the acoustic guitar so you could hear the words. And so then I started singing and coming out on stage as the Jewish lesbian folk singer. But I was
Right.
still playing in all the punk rock venues with all my punk friends. I just went solo, and I went solo as a folk singer in that punk world. And so that's how that happened. That's how that happened. And then my record Folk Singer came out. So
Right. When you were talking about going back to San Francisco, when you were meeting people your age and you met the punk scene, you said people were angry and frustrated. And what was that feeling? What was the feeling of anger like then?
it's the feeling of being young. It's the feeling of being young and wanting to change the world because it's screwed up, you know.
Great
And you know,
emotion.
emotionally, politically, sexual politics, everything, you know, you feel like you can change the world when you're young and you have energy, and I think you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm counting on the young queers today. I see them changing the world every day.
That's right.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's very important. You know, when you get older and you settle down, you just don't get out as much, and you're not quite as active. You can be active in many ways, but it's not the same. And so being swept up into that kind of passionate, you know, I'm seeing it now with Queer Nation, and even just with just, you know, people being out and having fun together, being out together, organizing events together.
Fun is important. Fun is important.
Fun is
At
super.
this time.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to have a good time?
That's right.
Not
That's
about
right.
being miserable, you know.
And so even with the name Nervous Gender, I mean, you were early on, you specifically the gender brought up then was like was kind of revolutionary, just to throw it out there that way at that time.
Now we can recognize how revolutionary that name was. But seriously, that night I was at a club. I did not know a soul. I had a suit and tie on. I stood against the wall, scared to death, trying to be cool at the club. And this guy came up to me and said, "Want to be in a band?" And I was like, "Yeah, good. It's called Nervous Gender." It was like I
That
fit.
Geraldo?
You know,
Who is that?
that was Edward Stapleton from Nervous Gender. And Nervous Gender is they're reissuing original Nervous Gender, some stuff that I'm on. Yeah, it's just coming out. I'll put that
That's
link in there too.
when you find your tribe like that, when you find your people, when people recognize you, when they can like see a quality in you that you maybe didn't even see in yourself.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, you know, when you pursue something, I wanted to be in a band.
Yeah.
So I went out, even though I didn't know people in LA. I came back to LA from San Francisco, and I only knew lesbians. I didn't know any punks. I didn't know anybody. So I went out. You know, it's like, you want to be in a band? That's the way it was then, and that's the way it is now. You want to be in a band? Make a band. Can you play an instrument? No. You want to be in a band? Make a band. You know, you want to be an artist? Make art.
Right.
You want to make a record? Make a record. I made my record. I made my record.
And you use your aesthetic, you use your style, you use your, like, those influences to almost as part of your, I mean, it was who you were, but you also use it maybe a little bit as an art form, the way that you styled yourself and the way that you, was that part of your thinking at the time, since you weren't a budding artist then? Were you using fashion as part of an art in some way?
I think I used everything, you know, it's like anybody gets dressed up to go out to a party, don't they?
I hope so.
We spend a lot of time getting dressed up.
I'll get a new carabiner.
We spend a lot of time taping ourselves up to go out, you know, nervous gender.
Frank, you have a slide. You have slides.
Oh yeah, here, you want to see some pictures?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Do your, because I think
I'll try to do the share screen thing. Hang on, let me see if I can.
Okay, so
Oh, there I am as a young child. All right.
we don't see anything, sweetheart.
Oh, hang on, because I haven't shared my screen. Wait a minute. Let me. Okay.
Nervous gender. I can't wait for the
Can you see any? Okay, wait a minute. Now, hang on.
Now that's the real inside of Frank's head. This is
Okay.
there
Can
you
see
go.
that?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Talk to us.
Okay, I made that when I was 9, and that's
Wow.
kind of a lot like what I do now. But I'm going to zip backwards because I'm not sure what order stuff is in.
It's like a self-portrait.
Yeah, it was a self-portrait. Okay, close your eyes because you'll get all blurred. You're going to get a.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh,
Like,
Frank,
beautiful, beautiful, everything.
like a
Wow.
strobe
Great.
light of Frank.
Wow,
Okay.
I love it. Yeah.
There's
Right.
the first record that I made with money that I saved from teaching swimming and lifeguarding. This is Nervous Gender. Michael was taking the picture, so he's not in it. This is Edward, and this is Gerardo.
Wow.
And that's you in the middle because you look
That's me.
different. Yeah.
That's me on stage with Nervous Gender. That's Michael Ochoa.
Okay.
That's me at the Women's Building. That's me at the Women's Building.
How old are you there, Frank?
18.
Uh-huh.
At the Women's Building, and that's me a couple of years ago in my studio. Everything's mixed up.
We love it.
Oh yeah. Wait, whoa.
Yeah. Go back one.
Go back. Tell us about, you gotta give us your
One of those great, cowgirl photos. Trying to make the best out of being a girl. This is what I do. I make paper to look like fabric, and then I cut it and I sew it. And you're going to see what I sew it into because I'm going to show you what I do. So this is a really super slow motion. Let me see if I can speed it up. Yeah.
Wow.
So all this paper is painted by hand.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Wow. Look at the concentration that takes. Look at that massive piece of fabric you're painting over.
It's a big
paper.
piece of fabric. All right.
Yeah.
So this is, now I'm going back. Okay. So this is
some of your early art.
This is a recreation of some early art. I'm all mixed up here. This is a shirt that's in the show that's coming up, the Butch Closet. Hang on, Old Butch. Let me see.
Oh,
Butch signs.
I saw childhood's reflection in that Western gear.
Yeah, I'm getting there in a second. So I work on cardboard today and craft paper, and I worked on cardboard back in the punk rock days. And for the same reason, it's free. Cardboard is an equal opportunity medium. You can find it anywhere. It's for everybody. And I work with plain paper, like on a roll, like a big brown paper. And then I cut it and I sew it. This was a piece about gender. This was Annie Oakley and Davy Crockett. And this was like
at the Gene Autry Museum from a show at
this was a show that happened at it happened at Craig's. It did not go to the Autry. This was another show.
Okay.
This was about Annie Oakley. I wish I was a girl, and this was I wish I was a boy. They're Halloween costumes. And they're all made out of paper. Paper.
Wow.
And this was a show. This was a show that I did in New York.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tell me what is this all about here at the White Column?
Well, this is part of Stonewall 25, a show at White Collins Gallery. And this is my piece called Mix and Match. Now, the unique thing about this piece is that this is a mix and match piece. This is a piece made especially for cross-dressers, because if you'll notice, not only does the jock strap move to go with the traditional undershirt, but the bra can also go with the jock strap.
So that was for the
I
25th.
applaud that as a piece. Yeah.
That was for the 25th anniversary of Stonewall, and we know we just had the 50th anniversary, so that was a little ways ago. This is another Halloween costume that I wore when I was probably like 5 or 6.
But that was paper. That was a recreation of it.
Everything's paper, yeah.
Everything's
Okay.
I love the use of paper and found cardboard as a medium. Great.
And so these are paper shirts. This is this piece that I'm working on now is all about, I'm trying, instead of writing a memoir, I'm
Yeah.
trying to tell the story by creating sculptures of significant objects and pieces of clothing that I wore that tell
Yeah.
the story of how I came to be who I am today.
Frank, when
I
is that
that
show
was-
opening?
Show opens October 28th at Craig Kroll Gallery. And it's
And that's
up
in
to
Santa Monica?
December 2nd. What?
That's in Santa Monica at Bergamot?
In Santa Monica, Bergamot. I'll put it in the chat too.
Good, cool.
Yes, please.
Let's see, what did we leave out? Any more questions? Let's see. That kind of is where I'm at now. Here's some process. So that you can see how big the paper was. So let me see if I can scoot to the end and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. These are some more records. I enjoy being a girl.
Look at that art, Stefan.
It's beautiful. I'm
That's-
mesmerized.
That's not Photoshop, that's real.
You're really surfing in this
This
shot
was
now?
before Photoshop. I am really surfing with a guitar. Yes, the guitar.
And where is
Yeah.
that?
It did get wet. It's at Malibu.
In Malibu. Wow.
We're gonna have to talk about surfing.
Okay.
Wait.
so-
Yeah,
So this, what happened was I was out on the road and I was for this record, which record? This record was out. And I was out on the road with Morrissey and I was doing these big tours and my brother was killed during that time and I came home and I stopped
Good to hear that.
making music. I stopped performing and this is how I, and the reason I have a career making visual art is because I needed to do something creative without people looking at me. And so I returned back to making visual art alone in a studio, not in front of people. And when I was healed, so art is for me, it's a very healing practice. And there's no better place to be than lost in the art of making. I feel like art saved me when I was a child. It saved me from everything I didn't like that was going around me. It let me create a world, that piece you saw in the beginning of the self-portrait of me in the womb. I was there. And I have that same feeling of magic today when I'm lost in making and I lose the worry of what is going on all around me. And so I got to heal through that making, but I wanted to go back on stage. And so when I came back on stage, I didn't come back on stage as Frank. I came back as Hot August Frank. I came back as another person. I came back as a version of Neil Diamond. And so I had a lot of fun doing this, not being me. And then I became my own opening act. And there I am as Hot August Frank. And that was a really great way to re-enter. And then I had my visual art too. And so since that time, I've had both practices, and I feel like I'm very, very fortunate. But the more artists that I talk to, really identify with that, the feeling of being lost in the making and how much that helps us survive really difficult times, emotion, pain, just stuff that is just so overwhelming. If I can get to a place where I can be creative, play my instrument, cut up some cardboard, it saves me every single time. Art is the best medicine. It just really is. It just really works for me. Whoops, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So drag, when that record came out, they asked me if I would, for April Fool's Day, whether I would be in drag. This was in 91. And they said, Francesco Scavullo is going to take your picture. Now, if you don't know who he was one of the most famous fashion photographers, shot the covers of Cosmopolitan. And so he took this picture of me.
Look at that. What do you think, Stefan?
Phranc, can I tell you two things about this? That I've worked with Francesco Scavullo many times early in my career. So this right here is such a beautiful, this is beautiful in many ways. We did a few Cosmo covers together, and then we did some together for magazines in Paris. And I was also very affiliated with Paper Magazine. I did their very first 4-color fashion shoot. And
with Kim. Wow.
Kim Hushrader. Yeah.
And did you know Kevin? Did you know Kevin Aucoin?
Of course.
Yes. Well, Kevin did the makeup for this.
Yes. I did know Kevin, and I you don't understand. I've been seeing this.
Oh my God.
For so long. And yes, this is,
wow.
Yeah, this is giving me chills all over, because this just goes back to the creative community that,
yes,
I feel like somehow we all find each other in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we just keep going. You don't understand, Phranc. I've seen this cover so much of my life, and just to be able to have you share the story of how it came about, because that I didn't know.
Oh yeah. And Kevin, and that's how I met Kevin. Kevin did my makeup.
Phranc, can you tell everybody who Kevin was, in case they
Kevin
don't?
Aucoin was a very famous makeup artist, a wonderful, wonderful guy. There are books of his work that document what kind of influence he had on the fashion industry. And he was just a fantastic person. And I was lucky enough to get to work with him.
Yes. What a beautiful collaboration.
Yeah.
Beautiful collaboration.
What else do we have here? Okay, so these are part of the autobiography. These are the skirts that I had to wear in 6th grade.
Wow.
So they'll be part of the new show?
These are going to be in the show, The Butch Closet, part of the Butch Closet. And there I am, about 12 years old. See how cool I was? Yeah, wow. I was a total geek.
Phranc, I got a question. Do you have any images of the paper costumes on a body? Like, I guess that means you wearing it?
Oh, I have a picture of me wearing one of the shirts, but I don't think I have it in this stack. This is the dress.
Yeah, look at this.
Wow. But look how
this is called Please Don't Make Me Wear That Dress.
Right. I just love how you make the materials come so alive, that there's life in these here pieces of art. Look at the tangled ties. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at this piece.
This is where the piece starts. This is a recreation of my baby quilt. This is all made out of paper and it's quilted.
Crazy, crazy. Look at that.
You can see the stitching in here. It's all free motion quilted, and it is painted brown paper, just like all the paper that you've seen.
I feel like you have such freedom
I feel like I do. I do feel free. I feel empowered to tell my story and to make my work, but that is because there has always been someone ahead of me that has supported me. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, how did you go from there to there with just from nothing to opening for the Smiths from nothing? And I was like, it wasn't from nothing. It takes years of becoming who you are and wanting and stepping out the door every day and staying alive and holding your head up to get where you are. But there were people ahead of me that watched me and took care of me and were great examples. I mean, there's lots of queer heroes out there. There's Leslie Feinberg, Alex Dobkin, who were from both opposite ends of the extreme politically, but both profound influence on me. Minnie Bruce Pratt, Kate Bornstein, Maxine Feldman was an old folk singer.
What about authors and people?
Oh, Jill Johnston, who wrote Lesbian Nation. When I was 17 in high school, I carried Lesbian Nation under my arm like a Bible, just so everybody could see the word lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
And I met her when I was 17, it was just like Jean Cordova, who published The Lesbian Tide, who was just one of the founding four dykes of Los Angeles.
What a force. What a
These
force.
are the people that raised me. These are the
Yeah.
people that raised me. So, and then at the Women's Building, Arlene Raven, Ruth Iskin, Sheila de Bretteville, I can go on and on about all of the women that, and there are men too, that just were always there for great examples of no matter what, making their art, no matter what, staying out and being outspoken and saying who they were.
What did you think of the cinema, like the Children's Hour with Shirley MacLaine and was it Audrey Hepburn?
Well, I saw that stuff as an adult, as a young adult. So it's not like it affected me when I was young. But then you have the whole case of people being in the closet, being in the closet because they were scared of being out, fearing for their lives. People have all different kinds of reasons to be afraid. And
what do you think about the times that we're in today with that?
I feel that the times today are very scary, and I am out, and so it is my job to continue to be out and to encourage and support people. I have to be who I am, and I encourage people to grow up. It's never too late. Come out, be exactly who you are, no matter who you are. The reason that I am out is to show that you can grow up and be who you are. Everybody should have, feel like they have the right to grow up and be who they are, no matter who they are, no matter what they choose. I think the climate today.
What do you say to parents who are on the fence with their kids?
Love your kids and support them to grow up to be who they are.
Yeah.
They know who they are. My parents, when I came out, they said, "Oh, you're too young to know." And I think, a lot of kids get that. You're too young to know. How do you know? And then I listened to other parents who's like, their kid identifies, and when they're 7 or 8 and the parents listen, it's tremendous. It's fantastic. But, my community has gone from being a gay community, gay and lesbian community, gay and lesbian, transgender, non-binary, all-inclusive, AI two-spirit community. My queer community and family has expanded. And I want all of them to be able to grow up and be who they are and have happy, wonderful lives. I don't want anybody to be, and people are coming after us all of us, but particularly kids, you know.
Which we
and
don't
trans
like at
kids.
all. We hate that. I hate that.
No, I mean, this is supposed to be about, you know, overcoming pain and fear and adversity, you know, and art is one of the greatest ways to bond and to heal and to survive. It's just the greatest survival tool of all, I think.
Here, do you make the clothes and references to photographs, or are some of them from memory? I think
most of them are from memory, but I actually do have a couple of the original pieces. I have the original baby quilt, so I use that as a template. And I have the little plaid jacket. And I have the lamb chop Halloween costume. So I was able to look at them as a reference, but many other pieces are from memory.
And your parents saved these. They saved these items.
She did. My mother did save some of this stuff, so I am grateful to her for that.
Don't throw out your kids' stuff. Hey, Frank, can you talk more about, excuse me, Stefan, can you talk more about what you were saying about, especially, because there's a lot of kids who have a lot of roads to navigate, and you've navigated quite a few, and you started very young, which was unusual when we were kids, you know. I just was wondering if you could put that into perspective for them.
You know what? I think the roads that we navigate are very similar today as they were when I was growing up. The thing that really saved me was that I was determined to find my people. I spent a lot of time. Now we have the internet. Back then we didn't have the internet. I spent a lot of time at the library. That's how I found out I wasn't alone. Now we have chats and we have support groups. We have queer centers, you know, that might offer a guide or some way to connect with people that are like-minded, you know. But when I went to the library, I found all these books, and I realized that there were other lesbians, there are other people that were like me. And that helped me navigate, that helped me feel, you know, if you can find one other person that is like you, then you feel like you're not alone.
That's right. That's right. You know, it's funny because I just heard the other day someone say, excuse me, that with everything that's happening, we are actually living in the safest time that humanity has ever had, which is so hard to believe. But when you think about everything that you're talking about, the fact that gay people can get married, that it's, you know, that we have gone through a lot. Even though we're in this really tender place right now, which is, I'm using the word tender in a big way, you know, but right now we are in the safest time, like for gays, for women, for anybody who's considered a minority, oddly enough, as we continue to fight.
Well, I hope that's true. I feel like because we have the knowledge and we come from, you know, where we come from to get where we are, yeah, maybe we are in the best position, but it's just we can't be deceived by what, you know, take for granted what we have now. Always have to be on the alert and protect what we have, you know, because we don't want it to be taken away. So for all of us, for every minority right now, in this Western culture that we're living in, is, you know, in our lives are in jeopardy. So we just have to make sure we take care of each other.
And I like how everybody's together. That was like,
yes, we are together now.
Is nice. Very important.
I think it's very important to be unified, you know.
I was also at one point the fashion director at Out Magazine, under Sarah Palin. I mean, Sarah, what is Sarah's last name?
Palin, she'd love that. Wait, do I have the picture of me on the cover of Out? I have one of those too.
Yeah. So, you know, and I remember it was a magazine that was for both gay men, lesbian women, and this was in the later part of the 90s, and there was still a lot of tension to get that
Separation,
going.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I feel now, all these years later, that magazine or that online presence or something like that can exist, a community together.
Yeah, well, we have that now. We have the advocate is kind of, more inclusive now, but then there's them, and
Them.
there's, there's more, there are more platforms for all of us.
I think I'm going to try to invite the person who created them for Condé Nast to be part of our discussions. I spoke with him this weekend.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, that's important.
The music. So how you're focusing right now on the art form. Well, it's all art for you, encompassing everything. But
what I'm doing now with this Butch Closet, I'm trying to bring the art and the music together. So in the show, it's the pieces of clothing that I make, the paper clothes, but one room is an archive room that'll have all the photographs and the videos and stuff from the music period. And then one of the rooms will be about the art making process, the physically making the work. And then there's a performance where I do kind of what I'm doing tonight, where I show the pictures and I sing the songs and I tell the stories.
Beautiful.
So
Can
I'm
you tell us
to
again where it is, like where
bring
we
it
can
all
see?
together. Yes,
Yeah.
it'll be at the Craig Kroll Gallery, and I'll put it in the chat, which is in Santa Monica, California, and it's October 28th. So.
And Phranc, also, if I understand, which I think I do, you're teaching also about, the University of Michigan next year. You're going to.
Yes, the show, The Butch Closet's going to go in 2024 to the University of Michigan, where I'll be collaborating with on some courses there. And I'm really excited about that. And
you're a great teacher, P.S. Stefan, she's a great teacher.
I can feel it. I'm like sitting here mesmerized by just this moment. I can only imagine being in that focused environment.
Frank's worked with little kids. Like, Phranc, talk about real quick, the project you did in Canada with the kids.
Oh, that was a wonderful group. There's a group in Canada called Big Rock Candy Mountain, and they teach 4th and 5th graders. They teach art, and what they do is they teach about class and social consciousness and culture by using candy. So the kids got to make their own candy bars and learn about the cocoa beans and how they make the chocolate, and then who you sell the chocolate to, like there's the fancy chocolate, and then there's the Hershey's chocolate. And so they've used chocolate, they've used bubble gum, they've used soda pop, and the kids get to be a part of the entire process of creating not only the drink, the candy, the gum, but also the packaging, the flavors, and selling it. So they learn about so much about the world from, and it's such a fascinating way to teach. These two teachers, Hannah Jickling and Reed, they use Big Rock Candy Mountain as this way to really communicate in an incredible way. So I got to be a guest artist. They bring guest artists in to collaborate with them, and so we made a giant cardboard chocolate box where every kid got to make a piece of chocolate, and it all went into one big giant cardboard chocolate box. This is fantastic. So
spectacular. Can we have the spoiler alert, please, Lisa?
Yeah. So Phranc is my life partner. We have been together for 27 years. 27 years.
That's
we
beautiful.
have 2 grown children and a wonderful parent. There's a little image of her behind Phranc named Pickles. And I think I just want everybody to know true love is out there. It might be one person, it might be 2, it might be 3 or 4 relationships if you're lucky to have them. But, my beloved is this wonderful guest we've had. And I must tell you, Phranc, we don't usually cross paths. in our creativity, but this has been a treat. This has been really cool.
You guys, thank you for bringing this to us today.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to be here. I thank you so much for inviting me. I really do appreciate it.